What's up, guys? Welcome back to Cooking with Landon and Kita. And today we're gonna cook a steak. I already messed it up. There are no do-overs though. This is only one take. Isn't that right, Kita? Anyways, this is one steak, Devon, one trick, Devon. We are going to cook a steak in a semi-truck. So I'm going to teach you how to do that. I don't know if I should title this How to Cook a Steak in a Semi-Truck or Cooking a Steak in a Semi-Truck. This needs to be cold. I don't know why I'm turning this on. It's also not plugged in. But yeah, so I don't know if you've heard of cold searing a steak. There's a video on YouTube by Landon that basically shows how to cold sear a steak. And it's a great method. It actually works phenomenally. It doesn't produce any smoke. You don't have to use any oil or anything. You're using a non-stick pan, and you kind of keep it at a low temperature the whole time. You build up the crust over it naturally. Not as great, I think, as a like butter-basted perfect steak, but you know, it's a method. So we'll just get right to it. This is my steak. I did put some salt on there about an hour ago. I let it kind of sink in the fridge, took it out about 10 minutes ago. It's still cold on the inside, but I'm gonna damp it real quick. Basically, the plan is you let that salt soak in, and then you take the steak. See, it's like not even giving me that much liquid because it's all just soaked back into the steak. So that moisture is actually retained in the steak, and it's kind of like diffused in the steak with the salt, so it's all balanced out. This steak is still pretty cold. The reason I'm leaving it cold is because the last time I did this method, it cooked a little too fast on the inside for the outside to develop a nice crust. This time I'm gonna hope that it develops a nice crust, and we just bring it up to that temperature over like a few minutes, and it's, you know, even if it takes a little longer, as long as the crust is a little better, hopefully that's good. Hopefully it doesn't like burn the outside. But I need to flip this thing really quick, so I'm gonna grab a different one of these. I'm gonna flip it right here in this uncomfortable little area spot thing. Ooh, gonna make a mess for sure. So just do it like that. Looks pretty good. I seasoned it pretty heavily with salt. I hope I didn't overdo it, but I may be patting a lot of the, well, I guess I'm not patting it off, but you can see there's a spot right there for some reason. Anyways, first time using this little hot plate in the truck, and it seems to work. I just did a little test run before turning on the video, but you don't want to get anything hot yet. You basically take the steak, take a non-stick pan with nothing in it, put that there, take your little rubber spatula thingy, and you set it somewhere. There's like no space in the truck. This is so fun. I've already prepped. This is pepper, thyme, and butter, and I'm gonna put more butter on top, and it's gonna sink into this egg. That's all it is: salt, pepper, thyme, and butter. Nothing crazy. This is dried thyme too, so it's not even great, but it is fresh cracked pepper, so it should be kind of nice. And I put the pepper on afterwards because I don't like all the little crunchy bits, especially on a non-stick pan burning. So we're gonna go ahead and get this thing going. So you just take your little cold steak. Hope that's not a piece of rice. There was rice in that salt. I don't know if Haynes does that, you know? I think that's the name of the salt. It's just not, yeah. Straight up cold, just like that. There it is. That's how you, no, I'm kidding. Anyways. So they said you turn up the heat pretty high at first. You want to get this thing kind of cooking hot. But the thing about this method that's so great is it doesn't produce any smoke, really. If it starts smoking, you kind of are doing too much. So I'm going to use this fork and this spatula to turn it in a second. But I don't have my phone as a timer. I'll just look at the time. This has already been going 4 minutes because I'm bad at content so far. But yeah, we get that going. So 4 minutes, 30 seconds. I think she said you do it 2 minutes on each side at a high temperature. And what that does is it basically melts a lot of the fat and allows it to cook in its own fat rather than cooking in a different fat. And since it's non-stick, all that moisture and stuff is just going to evaporate. You're going to have a very ugly looking steak in the beginning, but after you keep flipping it, it'll slowly develop the crust over time. Let me get the thermometer out here. We just got this organized, so much nicer now. Okay. We are stuck in Colorado permanently. What the heck? Like permanently and terminal combined. Both words not that I was trying to say. I was probably trying to say temporarily. But yeah, we're stuck here temporarily because basically Glenwood Springs got icy roads. They shut it down for us. They sent us a shutdown message, and we are stuck for right now. Basically taking a forced 34-hour reset, it seems like. But maybe we'll roll out tonight, tomorrow. You see, it's got a little sound to it now. That's what you want to start hearing. Now, this is pretty high up. I just tested this thing. This little heater, this little skillet thing is hot. So I'm not going to go too crazy with it. It has been about 1 minute and 30 seconds. I hope, I'm not doing this wrong. I'm going to give it a few more seconds. But what I also learned on YouTube from watching numerous videos that I spent too long watching is that you should always just basically flip your steak like every minute, because it doesn't hurt it to flip it every minute. It just cooks it more evenly. People say that it doesn't develop a crust that way, but it does based on this method. You'll see that. So yeah, I'm gonna let some of that burn off for a second though. Almost worried about it. Hopefully we don't get a ton of splatter. Usually I don't, not with this method, so we will see if I make the truck permanently smell like steak or not. Keita will be very happy with that, I'm sure. Alright, it's been about 2 minutes and 15 seconds. Maybe longer. But alright, I'm gonna go ahead and flip this thing. I don't have tongs, so I gotta do this whole ordeal every time. Beautiful. You see, this is the problem though. It is gonna look like this at first, and it looks terrible. And I know that what you're thinking. You're thinking, what a way to ruin a perfectly good ribeye steak that you probably paid good money for. And it does seem like that at times, but it's really not like that. It is popping a little bit, so I'm gonna turn this thing down a little more. So that was at about 7 minutes when I flipped it. I'm gonna flip it again at 9 minutes. So basically, the whole premise of this is you're just coaxing it up to the right temperature. You want to first blast the heat on the outside a little bit. Let the fat sort of render out to where you do have like this little gray padded area. And then you just turn the temperature down. You keep flipping it, drying out those sides, getting it more crispy, and slowly bring it up to the right temperature. But this steak is a little colder on the inside, like I said, so we're going to see if that works the same way. As you can see, there's no smoke in here. I can smell the steak, but it's not like super aromatic yet. So that's a good sign. Probably need to open a window just in case. I'm gonna open that little thingy over there. See how this goes. Yeah, like that. I guess you can kind of push that in or out, but probably turn this down too low. So that's the name of the game with this. You just want to keep it where it's not sizzling, not creating too much smoke. I mean, sizzling, this is the right sound right now, but we're at about 8 minutes and 40 seconds, so flipping it again at 9 probably would be a good thing to blast the heat on the fat cap too. I don't know if I should save that for last or not, or if it makes more sense right now. I don't know. While the temperature's high, I think I'm going to go ahead and do that. Turn that up and then try and blast some heat on that fat cap for a second. Let's see what the other side looks like. Ooh, plastic fork is not the way. Oh, we're already developing some crust. That's kind of a bad thing. I shouldn't be poking it with this fork either, but it's like a sin. See, it wasn't even sizzling that much and it was creating that crust. That's what's crazy. This is so tough with a plastic fork, let me tell you. I don't even want to poke it. I think that's like against the rules to poke it with a fork. I think that releases some juices or something. Ooh, a little bit sketchy. Definitely creating some a little bit of smoke now, which I don't like, but trying to sear that fat cap. They say to do that. They say that's an important thing. So I'm trying to get that while I can. But the problem with that is it probably is going to be too hot. So let me go ahead and turn this back down. Turn that way down. I'm just going to try and like let it stand on that fat cap for a second. Whoops. Impossible with this perfectly brand new non-stick pan. That's kind of working. Got a little bit of leverage on it now. My bad, this video, I pointed it upwards. I hope this ain't a mistake to do this part of it too early. This is the first time I'm trying to render this fat cap so early in the process, and I'm poking the steak again, which I'm not about. And there's a lot of liquid in the pan now, which I'm worried about. All right, so it's obviously way too hot. I'm gonna actually pick this up. So see this smoke and sizzle? You don't want too much of that. You want it to be very gentle. That's a nice little browning in there though, I guess. So I'm gonna pick this thing up and let it kind of cool down for a second. Maybe even slide it around in its own juices. But that's all natural juices. I mean, this stuff should kind of cook off all the little water, but the idea is still slow burn, slowly building the outside, you know. Keep that thing to a little bit of a simmer, just kind of bubbling like there. Now we're just going to flip it basically every minute until we feel that it's getting a little more cooked on the inside. And it's already definitely still raw in the middle. You can tell, you push down, it just kind of feels like it. But then again, is this a clean napkin? I think I was going to put a clean napkin right here. That's kind of gross if it is, but that's fine. I'll just put it right there. What we're going to do is, I didn't check to see what time it was to flip it, but I'm going to leave it here for a second to let that sort of really fizzle up there. This is also my first time cooking on this, so I don't know how to adjust the heat properly, so forgive me if that's incorrect. This is definitely super raw in the middle. You can tell it just kind of back up, you know what I'm saying? Not really bouncy yet, I guess, you know. A lot of people say you're supposed to take this in from the side, and I kind of agree. I'm going to try and do that right now. This might be too early in the process. I'm sticking it through the fat, which is kind of weird, but oh yeah, that thing. Ice cold in the middle.
It smells so good.
Which is what we want, actually, but I might develop too much of a crust this time. But that's the whole name of this game, low and slow.
It's Krusty Krab.
Krusty Krab? Why you look like that? I had to put the camera on you. It's been another minute. See, there is this brown crust that's forming. That's what you want. You do want it to look like that, which is nice. I'm going to turn this down a little more. I've been recording mainly the microwave this whole time. I didn't mean to do that. That's when I went to open that window, but yeah, this thing is still ice cold in the middle, but it is developing this crust. Hopefully we don't develop the crust too fast this time, now that it is kind of cold in the middle. It is weird that I put that on the bed, but oh well. I'm gonna let that do its thing, you know. You just want it to have like a little bit of sizzling, a little bit of like puffs of smoke coming up. Keep open the window entirely so everyone in the world is basically listening to me, but that's okay because there's no one here. That's what I'm saying. We must. See, that fat looks a little bit not too crazy. It's also one of the things people always say not to mess with it. You can mess with it as much as your heart desires with this method, because you just want it to sort of get all these little bubbly joints out of here, you know? And just get a nice even sear. Just flip it every minute. Keep checking the temperature.
Somebody really watching a movie over here. I think a lot of people are struggling because that's like cleaning.
He's cleaning?
Yeah, cleaning.
Oh, damn. That guy got a trash can, bro. Usually you can't remove those trash cans. They're like bolted to the ground, but yeah, no, I feel that. All right, this is getting a little too poppy, which I don't like, because my bed is right here. I'm not trying to smell like steak. But even with my hands right here, I'm not feeling any real hopping, you know what I'm saying? Which is the way I want it to be, because this is supposed to be a clean operation in the truck. So yeah, get that thing. You can see that the browning does look really nice so far. That's how it develops. Very slowly, you're gonna start developing these like layers of brownness. So we're gonna get that. Just like a what? Just like our babies. Yeah. All them layers of brownness. That's funny. Probably not supposed to check it like this. I do this because I'm lazy, and I also don't have a tong would be really helpful, but I don't know where to put anything in this truck. Do not fall, but I'm just gonna keep on flipping. I don't think it's been a minute yet. I think I'm just impatient, but as you can see, it's still building that like perfect brown crust. And the temperature is coming up on the inside, albeit a little bit slower than I would hope. But I think that's because I got this thing so low because I don't want it to splatter everywhere. We're going to see if that works, you know? I mean, this takes longer. It takes like 10 minutes. It's not like a regular put in a steak. You put in a steak, you smoke up your entire house and then you're done. But I think, honestly, this method it cooks it very evenly. You'll see when I cut it, it's going to look beautiful on the inside. And it's, you know, you don't get stuff everywhere. You can do this in a semi. This is a nice ribeye steak.
Guys use the steak king. I don't want to be that's it.
Sorry.
Use the steak king. Just know that.
I don't know about that.
You're the steak king.
I'm cooking in a semi. But and I'm messing with it too much a little bit, but now I'm just gonna keep flipping it as much as I want, because that's what I want to do. I also want it to be a little bit warmer. I think it's not really getting there for some reason. You know what would suck is if like the inverter just turned off. This is like an 1100 watt sort of deal going on here, but it says heating. It's got power, so it just sounds a lot more quiet now. It's kind of concerning, honestly. There's like hardly any bubbling, anything like that. This is a very big steak. I'm not seeing any smoke. Usually there's like little like wisps of smoke coming up. There's like a little bit like right here sometimes, but that's not very much. But yeah. There's all sorts of methods of cooking the steak. You reverse sear. I think reverse sear is the most reliable method. Sear it on the outside and then you bring it up to temperature in an oven, I think. Or maybe that's the opposite. You bring it up to temperature in the oven and then you sear it on the outside. Same thing with sous vide. But this is a much more controlled method. You see it's kind of popping more aggressively now. I'm going to turn that heat down just a little bit. I mean, I don't have a lot to work with. I only got like 5 on this knob. Usually there's 10. But, yeah, we're going to go ahead and flip this thing again. Ooh, that looks crazy. That really looks nice. I mean, look at that. It's just very golden brown. And that's the other thing. Usually I cook steaks. If you cook them fast, you're just like worried the whole time. You're basically bound to overcook it. You're bound to F up somehow. But yeah, let's see what this says. Oh my gosh, I hope that's not the actual temperature, because that thing would be 100% done and I've just been chilling. Well, that says 115 though. I don't really like that. Let's see what it looks like over here. 147, that part's done. But that's how fast steak goes, you know. And usually you want to cook it to about 125 and then let it come up to that temperature on the inside for that nice medium rare. I know it says something different on this little thingy, but see, that built a nice crust over time. It's not a perfect crust. There's still some parts that aren't like crazy, but I'm almost happy with that. I think I'm going to take it off pretty soon, because I mean, I wasn't even expecting it to be up to 120 right now, but it sure as heck is, you know. So Flip it one more time for good luck. Hopefully don't overcook it in the process. Yeah, the crust isn't crazy, but the flavor will be there, and it's gonna be nice and medium rare. You see that bounce? That bounce is right, you know. I don't know if you guys cook steaks like that. If you do, you know the bounce is right. I might literally try and do that fat cap more this time. Just turn it all the way up. Oh God, bro. This is very challenging. Whoa! Very, very challenging. Imagine it just slips out onto the bed right now. Uh-oh, this is a bad thing. Gotta get juice on my bed. I want to get that little piece right there that looks red, but, you know, you can't be choosy with stuff like this, honestly. Because now it's going too much. We're creating that smoke that we don't want. I'm actually going to leave that there, and we're going to check this one more time. I think 125 is about right. I mean, it's coming up kind of slow. I'm gonna go ahead and pull it because it feels right, you know. So we get our little plate here, and dear goodness, there's probably a better way to do this. But I'm just gonna. Oh my gosh, it almost stuck too. Drop that thing right on here. Oh my gosh, it's coming off the plate a little bit. No, not much space. Okay, that's a steak, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, it took what, 20 minutes? Like hardly any prep. It's harder to get around in the truck, so the prep takes longer. I mean, I did take 40 minutes to let the stuff happen. It was colder at the start, so we're gonna see if this cut is right. But to me, I mean, I'm pretty happy with that so far. Let's see what we got. If I sit down here, make sure this is off. I'm even gonna unplug that just to be safe. You can actually pour this remaining juice onto here too, because this is literally just beef fat. That's all it is. It's nothing but the stuff that you want. Actually, before I do that, let me set that right back there for a second and break out the real knife. A lot of people say to let this rest too. I mean, cooked.
Yeah, you're gonna make
asparagus?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I probably should make asparagus too. I forgot how to make it, really, honestly. But
don't put the camera on me, by the way. I'm in my head.
I think you may be in it a little bit. So now we dump this butter on top like this. So the butter, you want the butter to kind of melt in to the top. I know I got some on bottom too. And then what that does is obviously, that's what you need. Especially because I didn't put any like seasonings or anything on it, which I don't really like seasonings on my steak anyways. I just like that nice basic steak taste. The steak should do the talking. It shouldn't be the seasonings doing all the work, you know. I'm actually gonna put this butter on top too. I'm gonna let that melt a little bit. While that's doing that thing, I'm gonna take another napkin. I think I've used all my napkins, so that's kind of fast. Yeah, thank you. That your face is in it, but it's not. So we just go like this. We're gonna see if I overcooked it or undercooked it or what. But oh, now I can take this and pour this on here like this. Oh wait, before I do that, I'm still like trying to think about my next move. My next move should be, you hit this with the thyme, because the thyme and pepper is already on the bottom, but you want it to be on the top too. That way it kind of like infuses. This is probably too much, but this thyme doesn't really taste strong either because it's dried. So we go like that. Let me hit it with this fresh pepper, which a lot of people don't like a ton of that. One time I cooked the steak in this pepper specifically, and it got spicy. So that was not my favorite because I'm not a huge spice man, honestly. Now we take this. I'm like, wait, no, I'm just kidding. Yeah, we're gonna do it this time. Pour that on there like that. I mean, look at that crap, dude. Talk about butter basting. This is basically like a post butter baste. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's amazing.
Dang, that truck was loud.
The truck was pretty loud. See, if you put olive oil, you cook this thing in olive oil, you'd be smoking up the truck so fast. Which olive oil, you're not supposed to cook steak in it. And vegetable oil is what I'm saying. Olive oil.
Olive oil.
Olive oil. But you can see that little spot on the top there. Didn't get that crispy. But look at that, like, crispy crust, bro. I mean, you're kidding me, dude. In a truck without smoke. That's solutions right there, folks. That's how you do it. I'm gonna use this fork again, and we are going to go ahead and cut on this thing because it's been a few minutes, and it's debatable whether or not you should let it rest anyways. Some people say you should, some people say you shouldn't. There's a guy on YouTube who said he debunked it, but I don't know if I should believe that or not. But what I took from the video was that if the temperature is too high, like 135, and it's like already basically overcooked, go ahead and cut it. That way the heat is lost immediately, otherwise it's going to keep cooking even more. But yeah, I think that's a good method. I mean the butter kind of soaked in a little bit and kind of made it not as crispy, but listen, without this butter, you don't even know what that butter does. I'm not good at cutting steak, so I'm just going to cut it right down the middle, and we're going to see if it's purple or not. Imagine it's purple. I'd be like, well, guys, I failed you.
Not possible.
That's what you say. It's feeling a little weird to cut.
Because it's on a plastic plate.
That's true. That's true.
Have a regular knife.
Oh, I'm cutting through the fat. That's what it is. Yeah, this is not a knife that I would usually use, but this is the type of knife you should use, I guess. All right, let me not drop everything off here.
Another napkin?
I should be good. I just got to readjust here. Man, this cut is taking forever. Sorry, guys. And it is so hard to cut. This knife is like dull. This is like the cheapest knife at Walmart. Because I was like, I'm not going to buy a nice knife and then worry about that on the truck. Dude, talk about almost perfect on the inside. If I could just get it cut, I'm cutting it right through the fat, I guess. You can hear the frustration in my voice. Keita's about to be like, calm down. All right, let's see what we got. Ooh. I mean, that's basically medium rare. And I mean, if you think that's not cooked right, I don't know what's wrong with you. That's like perfect almost. It's maybe a little too cooked. Honestly, in my opinion, I wish it was a little undercooked. A little less. But, dude, I mean, that just worked. It just works. So that's what I like about this method, man. You just do it. There's probably a better way to cut this. I don't know how to cut steaks. So I probably don't know how to cook steaks either, based on whatever the comments say. But, dude, this is all you need in life. If you can get it to cut, I'm gonna get another plate, because this is like driving me nuts. Imagine you have this beautiful steak and you can't even eat it because you can't cut it. That's not gonna cut it, in my opinion. All right, let's see. Not enough space for it on this little tray. So that's nice. Move all that over. Yeah, yes, please.
Yeah, yes, please.
Hey.
Yeah.
I'm not putting that in the video. You're gonna embarrass me in front of all my friends.
Remember, you're not cutting anything. You're leaving everything in. Do I need to remind you?
Oh, God. Women, right, guys? Right, fellas? Right, boys? Women? Ooh, that felt not good. Usually this would slide right in. I don't know. Something about this steak is a little weird, though. Imagine it's just super tough. Man, I'm thinking I overcooked it. But you saw what the temperature said. It said 115 in some spots. I was like, psh, I ain't taking that off yet. But this is my first time using that thermometer other than for the lamb video. And the lamb video was crazy. Dude, what is going on with this fat? I am like butchering. I mean, no pun even intended. Just butchering this slicing part of this video. The same thing that happened in the other video. I don't know if it's the angle. The fat is just crazy. Honestly, this steak does seem a little overcooked.
And as I said, you're on a it's really fun.
Even with it being colder, it seems a little overcooked. But you see the juiciness of this steak, bro? I mean, I think it's the grain. The grains are kind of diagonal on the steak, so it's harder to cut, maybe. I don't know. Let's try it. That's a very good steak. That's a very good steak.
I could see your face. I wish they saw your face. Your face was like...
Man, I think I overcooked it a little bit. That thermometer threw me off, but for a steak cooked in a truck, you know what I'm saying? Not that bad. Let me try and cut a better piece. Because my God, dude, I took like the worst, probably the worst piece. I need like a tender piece, like from this cat. I say as I cut right into the fat. Let me just cut around that fat, honestly. I think people don't even eat the fat sometimes. I used to not eat the fat. Keita doesn't eat the fat. Okay. The dullest knife in the history of the planet. You see, this is what I was expecting to look more like. Something more like this. But you can't see because it's... Okay, anyways, let's try it. That's a lot better. With the browning and the butter, I oversofted it just a little bit, but you see, guys, this is what I'm talking about. Something about it does seem a little tougher than the other steaks. I don't know what it is. I think it's just a cut of steak that I got. But I'll show you what it looks like. And you tell me while the light just makes it look orange. That's not what it looks like. There you go. Something like that. I gotta finish chewing up this piece, though. Like the longest path down the esophagus of all time. All right. Back to the show. This, yeah, that's pretty good. I know it looks orange because the freaking light. I'm about to turn the light off, honestly. If I hold it away, though, you can see that's just like a nice piece of steak. And I cooked that without making smoke. You can see that looks a lot better now because the air's kind of got to it and it looks better. But yeah, that's nice. Anyways, that's it, you guys. That's how you cook your steak in a semi truck without making smoke. It smells the same in here. Steak has a nice crust on it. Sorry, I'm talking about a mouthful again. You know, I'm still perfecting this method. I feel like maybe I should have seared it harder on the outside first. Give it more of a browned outside, but you can tell the method's here. It's not a bad method. It does not ruin a steak as long as you salt it right. You know, and do your thing with it. Don't overcook it a little bit like I did. But yeah, this is like honestly fantastic cut of steak if you can get past cutting it with this silly knife in this silly truck. But yeah, guys, thanks for watching. We're gonna kill this steak real quick. I'm gonna cut in right here. That way you guys can see all of the glory. See, that's the way it was supposed to cut, just like that. Anyways, I'm gonna cut all the other parts out now and just basically cut to this. Look at that, guys. A perfectly cut piece of steak, perfectly cooked. I mean, hardly any grayness in there, you know? It cooks it almost perfectly. I wish this steak was a little more tender. It probably is. I'd probably just cut like the worst part of it to eat. But yeah, it tastes phenomenal. I wish it had a little less salt, I guess, and a little more browning, but awesome steak, guys. That's how you do it. Have a nice one.